Okay, so you need notes for right now, so definitely take out your notes. I'll explain why the Chromebooks will come into play later. Being one of those things that can be pretty easy to kind of cover what I'm about to show you here with your Chromebook, but right now you need notes. I'll explain what we're going to be doing here in a second. Take attendance. I think we got everybody here that's going to be here today. Okay. Mason, you want to hit the lights for me as you walk back? Yeah, thanks. Perfect. Okay. Now, I kind of promised you each day this week I'd be providing you with a challenge, really. Kind of something to test your reasoning skills. So today, we're going to do kind of a logic puzzle. If you've ever done one of these before, I don't know. Most people have not. They've never seen something like this. Where you have to take all the clues that I provide you to find the outcome that took place. It's kind of like when you play the game of Clue, if you've ever played that. And you're putting all the pieces together, you're asking the right questions.
Morgan Lillable, please come to the office. Morgan Lillable, please come to the office.
And you're trying to find out, who did it and where and what item they used, that type of thing. But I'm going to give you plenty of clues, and you have to piece it all together. Now, how you keep it straight, that's the tough part. You need a chart that I'm going to provide you so that you can make little marks on the chart to put all the clues together. It is possible to solve it. There is one answer to the problem that is correct, and most classes do get it and they have a lot of fun doing it. So today is going to be that. You can, once I hand it out and you have all your clues written down, you can just go work at it. You can move around, you can sit wherever you like. It's one of those things that you just need time to work on it, and maybe you want to work in partners or something like that. So let's just talk about this idea of logic, right? So logic, by definition, it's using some type of reasoning that you can make a logical conclusion, something that's actually valid, true. The big thing is when you're coming up with your reasons, it could be deductive, so the clues I provide you, or some inductive stuff where you notice a pattern or you notice something about the grid that you're using. And I'll explain the grid here in a minute. But you're following those strict principles that you're only marking true things. You're not making up stuff as you go. You're narrowing it down. One example of using logic and narrowing down by using the clues that are provided you is a Sudoku puzzle. You never played a Sudoku puzzle or done one of these before? It looks like this, the grid. It's got 1 through 9 going across. It's got 1 through 9 going down. And the numbers don't repeat, so the numbers 1 through 9 will be here, and then there's 1 through 9 in the box here, right? So you can't just make up numbers and put them wherever you want, because it has to follow the strict grid, and you have to follow okay, this number can fit here. So for instance, do you agree that this box down here needs the number 9, right? The 9s can't be right here. Logic tells you that they can't be right here because when you look up the list, there's already a 9 sitting there. So 9s can't be here. You already have the 1 through 9 in this column already established. So 9s can't be here. So it's got to be in one of these 3 categories. Well, it can't be in here either. So it's got to be on one of these 2 locations. So because there's already a 9 going across. That's how you use grids in a logic grid. And you're using every clue you can to assess where you need to put that number so that it fits the actual location. Okay? All right. Questions with what you're going to be doing, the concept. That isn't the exact thing. You're not doing the Sudoku today. I'm not going to give you one of those. You're doing something completely different. So I'm going to hand this out. Okay? You're going to get one of these grids. This is called a logic grid. They always look the same. They just have different labels on them. Now you can put your name on this. You're going to turn this in. You're going to get points for doing this. This is going to be something you're going to turn at the end of the week. You can continue to work on it the next couple days. Other classes from previous years, they really enjoyed this. I actually really liked it. A lot of previous classes that have had geometry They went on to find a lot of these, a lot of different ones. They kind of give me recommendations of ones they liked, ones that had kind of cool storylines to them. Oh, yeah, I didn't. Oh. Okay, we ready to go? Everyone's got their grid? Okay, you put your name at the top. I'll turn on the lights here in a minute so you can actually read it. It's got everything you need. I'll explain the grid. I'll actually pop up an example up here and we'll fill in some stuff. All right, now does everyone have their notes out? I'm gonna give you about 9 different clues and you need to have these written down somewhere. I'll put it on rinse and repeat, and if you want, I'll put it up on a Nearpod, and it can be right in front of your group if you want that. I just gotta figure out a way to put it on auto rotation. So I'm gonna try to figure out that. Okay? All right. So, logic grid. Actually, I wonder if I can share it via Google Doc. I might just do that. Okay, here's your logic grid. So logic grid is coming up with some type of story and you're gonna try to answer it. So the story on this particular one, there's a bobsledding accident. They mixed pairs, so that means a male, female, mixed pairs. The Olympic bobsled competitions is in dire straits, pun intended. No one can remember who their partner is, so it's a male, female partner. They can't remember their passport, so they don't know which country they're from or what flag or color of the sled they're in. So that's what you're trying to figure out. So you're trying to find out the partners, male, female. You're trying to figure out the country they're from and the color of their bobsled. Okay, does everyone understand what you're trying to find here? Each partner, male, female, what country they're from, both of them. They're from the same country, they have to be, that's how the Olympics work. And their sled is a particular color. And so I just kind of picked random colors for sleds, so don't read into the color of the sled in the country you're going to, it doesn't work that way. Okay, are we ready for what you're going to be given, the clues? Now you kind of know the goal you're trying to find for the final end. Okay, so here's the first clue. Clue number 1. Betsy and Phil are the green sled duo. Unrelated news, Phil doesn't like Betsy much. Okay, so you're in the green sled, Phil and Betsy. So I'm going to show you right now how to start filling out this little grid that's in front of you. Okay? I'm going to leave that little clue up here and I'm going to draw your grid up here. Actually, I'm just going to pop it up with Excel. I think I can just put it up on the board. All right, I'm turning on the lights here on you. Sorry. I'm so bright. All right. Okay, everyone's got that first clue written? Phil and Betsy, they're the green sled duo. So right now you already know one pair, Phil and Betsy, and you know what sled they're in. So the goal is to find what country they're in later. Now I'm going to show you how to fill in this grid that's in front of you, because everyone's got that little piece of paper, correct? All right, the paper is to help you so you don't have to guess. It will narrow it down. Every clue is super important. All right, so let me throw this grid up here so you can see this. All right, so this is the grid that you guys are looking at. Yes, I made it with Excel. All right. So how I mark this, if you notice, they have the names going across, so these are all the women going that way. All the men are going down, so you can kind of match them up. Then there's sleds over here, the color of the sleds, the country they're from. This is the country for the men, so the men are going down, so these are the country for the men. And then their color of sleds are down here. And on this grid right over here is the color of the sled and the country. So you have to use that eventually to help you out. So this is the countries and the sled colors. Okay, so let me just show you how this works. So the first pair, who was it? Phil and Betsy. Okay, so what I do, I usually do this. Phil and Betsy, okay? I usually put a check mark. Because this is Phil, that's Betsy. Do we agree that they're a pair together? I usually put a check. You can put yes. I've seen other classes where they color it. Like they color it in and then they put like little X's on the other ones. So it's however you want to do this. I usually put checks, but I've definitely seen people where they get really organized and they put different colors everywhere and they color match and they use markers and colored pencils through in the back if you want them. Now, that means Betsy cannot be paired with Zane, Bobby, Ted, or Lance. So there's a bunch of X's I'm already throwing out there. She can't be paired with any of the other men. And that also means that Phil can't be paired with any of the other women. Oprah, Jane, Connie, and Lulu. You see how quickly you can fill in this grid by just a few clues. Now, what color sled were they in? Green. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to figure out, okay, here's Betsy. I'm going to go find the green sled. She's in green. That means she cannot be in any of these other colors. She's in the green sled. Now, that also means that none of the other women are also in that green sled because it's one woman, one man per sled. So that means these other women cannot be green. Do you see how quickly the grid's starting to fill in? You can do the same for Phil. Phil's down here. So if you follow Phil's name, you can go put the check mark next to green down there and put all those X's where they need to go. None of the other men can be green, and Phil can't be any other color. All right. Now, obviously, I gave you a lot of clues in clue number 1. The reason why I do that is to help you fill out the grid. Some of these other ones are very subtle. They don't give you as, as explicit directions as this. You kind of have to piece it together. So right now, you already got a lot of the grid filled in, but you have to fill out a lot later. Okay, are we ready to go? Okay, all right. So you got to fill out every pair, every country, every color sled that they're in. Let me get rid of this. Let's go back to the PowerPoint here. And again, I'll share this, I'll probably share this via Google Slideshow. So you can click through them on your own. You can have your computers up. So you can control what clues you need to see. If you don't want to write them. All right, now, next clue. That was clue number 1. Clue number 2. The Romanian team does not use red. So again, just write the clues down. Don't try to mark it on your grid. You don't have enough time because I'm going to click through these pretty quick. Romanian team does not use the red sled. Romanians do not use red. Okay? Next clue. Clue number 3. Bobby does not use the black sled. So if you read through that clue, whoever is paired with Bobby would also not use the black sled. Bobby does not use the black sled. Okay. We good so far? Next one. Number 4. Phil doesn't sled for Canada or Romania. He's not Canadian or Romanian. So what can you tell me about Betsy?
She's not Canadian or Romanian.
There you go. You read through that one pretty quick. His partner is also not from Canada or Romania. They have to be from the same country, the same color sled. Okay, you good with that one? Canada or Romania. Next clue, number 5. Connie is German. Connie is German. She would never be caught dead in a red or blue sled. Connie is German. She'd never be caught dead in a red or blue sled. Good so far? Next clue. Ted and his partner drive the white sled. They are not from the US, Germany, or Romania. So Ted and his partner drive the white sled. They are not from the US, Germany, or Romania. We got 3 clues left, I think. There's 9 clues altogether. So far, so good. Okay, next clue. Number 7. Lulu is from the US. Lulu is from the US. Number 8. Jane does not use the blue sled. Jane does not use blue. Okay, there's one more clue, I'm pretty sure. Next. Lance is not from Germany, and he does not use the red sled. I think this is my last one, I'm pretty sure. Lance is not from Germany. He does not use the red sled. Okay. And we're going to have all the clues. Okay, I'm going to share that PowerPoint with you so you can kind of go back and look at it at your own leisure. I know a lot of you already have them written, but that's in case, like, let's say you lose your notes or you have really bad handwriting and you're like, oh my gosh, I missed that clue. I didn't even write that part down. I'm going to share that with you. You can move around the room. You can sit wherever you want. You can stay in the same spot. Just make sure that you wear masks if you are going to move around and you're going to work with somebody else. I want this turned in by the end of the week. It is possible. Every class from every year has figured it out. It just takes a little bit of time, and you got to put a lot of X's and check marks and O's or however you're going to mark your grid. But in the very end, you're going to have to list the pairs of people, what sleds they're in, and what countries they're from. So usually what most people do is they write their answers on the back of that little paper. They write all their pairs. So it's very nice and clean on the back. Now group 1 is this. They're from this country and their color sled is this. Okay, I'm going to turn you loose. Let's see how well you can do on this logic puzzle. I'm going to share this document with you. First week of second quarter, yeah. Not next week, but the week after, first week of second quarter, yeah. And next Friday. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. And when I get closer, I'll narrow it down. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
So we can get it a week ahead. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you used the same grid for all your years?
The grid, but I changed the story and the clues.
There's a typo in the grid.
Is there?
Yeah, it says white sled.
Where's that at? Sleb?
Slab, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
I have.
Yeah, I'll go fix that. Won't be able to fix all the ones I printed, but you can fix that. Let me know if you don't receive an email from me. I sent it out via Google Classroom. It's got the slideshow. It's even got the grid for you. So let me know if you can't open it. I put it in Google, so I put it in Google Slides. I put it in Google Sheets. So hopefully your Chromebook's going to open it correctly. Let me know if it doesn't work. I'll try to fix it somehow.
I know, I was looking at this one. I don't really know.